Excel is the key to unlocking the limitless opportunities. It's a skill that can elevate your career, manage your finances like a pro, and turn raw data into powerful insights. In this video, we'll cover everything from the basics, right through tools most Excel users never learn, and that holds them back. We'll start with navigating the interface, entering data, including some shortcuts, as well as formulas and functions, formatting, including conditional formatting, sorting and filtering, data cleaning, tables, charts, and pivot tables, and all in well under half an hour. When you open Excel, you're greeted with a workbook, and you can think of it as a book filled with blank pages ready for your data. In Excel, pages are called sheets, and a new workbook typically starts with one sheet, but you can add more as you need. Each sheet operates independently, allowing you to manage different data sets, analysis, and your reports all in one place, yet they can also work together sharing data and insights. Now you can double-click to rename these tabs to reflect the content they hold, and making it easier to navigate. The ribbon is your command center. Think of it as the main toolbar, but instead of one size fits all, it's a dynamic tool that adapts to your needs. It's organized into tabs like Home, Insert, and Formulas. Each tab houses a group of related functions and features. For instance, under the Home tab, you'll find the essentials for formatting text and cells, while the Insert tab lets you add tables, charts, and more. Rows run horizontally across the spreadsheet and are identified by numbers 1 to 3 and so on. Columns, on the other hand, run vertically and are identified by letters A, B, C, and so on. Together, rows and columns create a grid, making it easy to navigate and structure your data. You can think of rows as individual records or entries, while columns represent the different data types or attributes of each record. Imagine each cell as a box that holds information. Cells are identified by their unique address to a combination of their column letter and row number. For example, the cell located in row 7 of column D is referred to as D7. Now this simple yet powerful system allows you to organize, locate, and manipulate data efficiently. Navigating through Excel spreadsheets is straightforward. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move between cells, or the tab key will take you to the next cell on a row, and enter will move you down to the next row. You can jump to the edge of your data by holding down Control and then pressing an arrow key. The right arrow will take you to the right-hand edge of your data. Similarly, Control and the down arrow takes you to the bottom of dataset. To enter data, simply select cell and start typing. Tab will take you to the next cell to the right. You can continue entering data, and Enter will take you to the next row below. If you want to edit a cell, you can double-click to go into Edit mode. You can press the F2 key, that will also take you to Edit mode. You can use the arrow keys to navigate through the text in the cell. Press Enter or Tab when you're finished to exit out of Edit mode. Another way you can edit cells is via the formula bar. I can simply make my changes and press Tab or Enter from here. The great thing about Excel is its flexibility, but this also gets most Excel users in trouble because they store their data in the wrong way. Autofill lets you quickly fill adjacent cells with several types of data, including values, series, and formulas. For example, let's enter a date, and then if I place my mouse in the bottom right of the cell until it changes to a plus icon, then I can left-click and drag the fill handle. You can see it generates a series of dates. Now there are loads of things you can do with the fill handle, so give it a try with other types of data like numbers, month names, or day names, to name a few. Formulas and functions are one of Excel's most powerful features. Let's start with a simple calculation. Suppose you want to add these two numbers in cell SB4 and C4. Select the cell you want the result to appear in, and then type in an equal sign. Select the cells you want to add, insert a plus between them, and then press Enter. You have your result. Now Excel formulas will always start with an equal sign, telling Excel that what follows is a calculation to be evaluated. To subtract, simply add a minus instead of the plus. Alternatively, for multiplication, you can enter the asterisk, and for division, it's the /. Excel also has functions that simplify complex calculations. Let's look at 4 essential functions every Excel user should know. Let's say I want to add up the values in this column. I could do it the way we just looked at, adding a plus sign and selecting each one, but that is super slow. Instead, we can use the sum function. Just type it in, press tab to select it, it's the one at the top of the list, and then select the cells you want to add up, close parenthesis, and press enter, and there's my result. Which is way quicker. Similarly, I can find the average, how to select average, select my cells. I don't even need to close the parentheses, I can just press enter here, and Excel will do it for me. Likewise, for minimum, always select the cells, and press enter, and maximum, select the cells, and press enter. Job done. Ever noticed a dollar sign in an Excel formula? It's not about cash. It's a cool trick to keep cells locked in place, even when you move your formula around. Normally, if you write a formula in a cell using references, like the sum that I have here, and then use the filler handle to copy it across, we get 0. And that's because the references have also shifted in line with where I copied the formula to. And that's because it's a relative formula, always moving based on where you've copied it to. But sometimes you don't want it wandering off. You want it to stick to cell C4 to C13 no matter where you copy that formula. And that's where the dollar sign comes in. And I can do this by adding dollar signs before the column and row references. So I just insert them, press enter, and now when I copy this across, it's still referencing column C. And no matter where you copy and paste it, it's still going to reference those cells. By the way, you can copy and paste with Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V, or cut and paste with Ctrl-X and then Ctrl-V. We've cracked the basics, but here's the deal. Mastering Excel's formulas and functions doesn't have to be a never-ending quest of trial and error. You can speed up the journey with my advanced Excel video on my channel. It's your fast track to becoming a pro. We're talking big efficiency gains with functions that might seem advanced, but will feel like a breeze once you've completed the course. The link is in the video description. Borders help you define areas of your spreadsheet, making it easier to distinguish between different datasets and sections. To add or change borders, select the cells you want to apply them to, and then on the Home tab of the ribbon, click on the drop-down here, and you can choose from a large range of default options. Or you can go into More Borders at the bottom. I just want to apply an underline on the bottom border for my headers. Fonts can impact how your data is perceived. Change the font type, size, or color. Highlight the cells you want, and then on the Home tab, let's apply a fill color, and we'll do it in this dark blue. Let's change the font color to white so it's more easily readable, and let's make it bold. You can also increase the size or decrease it, and there's various other options like italics and underlines which will let you explore. Just remember, consistency is key, so stick to 1 or 2 fonts for a professional look. When working with large numbers like we have here, it's helpful to format them with a comma separator. You can do that by clicking the comma icon here, and then it automatically inserts decimal places. We can remove them using the icon here, or add them back using this one, dot. I prefer to remove them where I don't absolutely need to see them. And if you have percentages like I have here, you can click the percentage icon here to apply the format. Conditional formatting is one of Excel's most powerful tools, allowing you to automatically apply formatting based on a cell value. For example, let's help our readers interpret this data at a glance with data bars to illustrate the size of the numbers. Start by selecting the cells you want to format, and then on the Home tab of the ribbon, under Conditional Formatting, Data Bars, I'm going to go with this yellow one in the solid fill, and that just allows me to also see the numbers through the bars. Conditional formatting can turn a dense table of numbers into a clear visual story, revealing patterns and insights that might not be immediately obvious. Sorting is the first step towards data organization. It allows you to order data that makes sense for your analysis. To sort data, simply select your range of data. I can select the whole table and then on the Data tab of the ribbon, sort A to Z. It's detected that I have headers, and it sorted the first column for the year in ascending order. And this is perfect for quick, straightforward sorting. For more control, you can use the Sort dialog box, and in here, I can choose which column to sort by. So for example, Let's say I wanted to sort by year, and I wanted to sort based on the values smallest to largest, and then I want to add a level. And then sort by the category and again cell values and A to Z. Let's click OK, and now our data is sorted by category within each year. Filtering allows you to focus on specific data. By hiding rows that don't meet your criteria, you can concentrate on the information that matters the most. So activate filters again on the Data tab of the ribbon and then filter. You can see I now have drop-down buttons on each of my column labels. And I can click on it, and here I can also access the sorting. But in the filtering, for example, let's say I only wanted to see the last 2 years. Click OK, and now my data is filtered, and we have the row labels in blue to indicate that there are some rows that are hidden. Now you'll notice you'll have different options depending on whether you have a numeric column filter or a text column filter, so take some time to explore them. Duplicates in your data set will completely undermine your work. Excel makes it easy to remove them though. Simply select the data that you want to check duplicates for, and then on the Data tab of the ribbon we've got Remove Duplicates. Now I've highlighted in red the 2 duplicate rows, so we can easily see the effect. I'll click Remove Duplicates. It asks me which columns I want to check. Well, I want to check entire rows, so I have all my columns selected. I'll click OK. It's found once you pick a value, and it's been removed. Excel tables are not just about aesthetics. They're a powerful feature that simplifies data management. To convert your data range into a table, simply select it and then use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-T. It's going to ask me if my table has headers. It does. So I'll click OK. This gives your data a structured format that's easy to work with. Now tables automatically come with filtering and sorting capabilities by default, making it straightforward to manage your data. And the banded rows make it easier to reference. When I select a cell in the Table Design tab becomes available on the ribbon. And here I can change the table styles and apply other formatting options. When you reference a table cell in a formula, you get a special cell reference called structured references that represent the columns you're referring to. It just makes reading formulas much quicker. Let's add a column to profit. You'll notice the table has automatically expanded to include it. And now I can simply insert my formula, which is sales minus cost of goods sold. Here we can see the structured references in square brackets. And when I press enter, the formulas automatically apply to every row of the table, saving me loads of time. Structured references will be different depending on which part of the table you reference. For example, I'm referencing the profit column here, and you'll notice it's prefixed with the table name and then the column name. I'll press enter, and there's my result. Now, if you want to add a row to the table, go to the last cell and press tab. Now I can type in my data. We'll put bikes in. This one will be road bikes, and it's 3,500 and 2,000 cost of goods sold. And notice my formula has automatically included that new data, and the formula that I entered earlier for the profit has also been copied down, saving me a load of time. Visual representation of data can turn complex information into digestible and compelling stories. Let's explore the different types of charts available in Excel to learn how to create and customize them to best represent your data. Excel offers a variety of chart types, and you'll find them on the Insert Tabular ribbon. Each chart is suited to different types of data and storytelling objectives. For example, column charts and bar charts are ideal for comparing the frequency, count, or total of different categories. You can use a column chart for time-sensitive data and a bar chart for longer category labels. Line and area charts are perfect for showcasing trends over time, especially when you have many data points. Pie and donut charts best for displaying the proportions of a whole, and they're most effective when you have no more than 5 categories that make up the whole. Scatter charts are excellent for showing the relationship between 2 variables and identifying patterns or trends in the data. And histograms are useful for showing the distribution or frequency of data within different bands. Now to insert a chart, you can select your data, including the headers, and then click on the drop-down for the chart type you want and select it. You'll notice the chart is an object that floats above the worksheet. Now to make your chart truly impactful, we can customize it. A word of warning though, avoid these chart styles. Unfortunately, these styles will distract your audience and make you look like a chart amateur. Instead, you can add or modify chart elements like titles, axes, data labels, and more via the plus icon beside the chart. For example, I can add data labels to this, and that means I don't also need my primary vertical axis. We also don't need the grid lines because we know the value of each column. For more detailed customization, you can right-click on any element in the chart and then go into the formatting options. This opens the task pane on the right, and we have lots of options for fill and border, effects, and more. And I leave you to explore those options in your own time. Now a couple of rules to keep in mind. Focus on the key message you want to convey and ask yourself if your chart enables the reader to read from your chart. For example, here I wanted to show the sales by category, and by sorting them in descending order, we can see immediately which categories sold the most and which sold the least. You also should ensure that all elements of your chart are clearly labeled, making it easy for your audience to understand your data, but don't duplicate labels. For example, if you have data labels like we have here, you also don't need the labels on the vertical axis, which is why I removed them. Pivot tables are one of Excel's most useful tools for data analysis. They make light work of understanding large, detailed data sets, and they're much faster and easier than writing formulas. Here I have some sales data by date, segment, manager, country, product, units sold, sales value, cost of goods, and profit. And on the Table Design tab, you can see I've given this table the name Financials. From here, I can click on Summarize with Pivot Table. It's detected the table range is called Financials. I'm going to put it on an existing worksheet that I've already set up, and we'll just place it here. I'll click OK. I get the Pivot Table placeholder, and the Pivot Table field list opens on the right. I'm just going to left-click and drag it out so it's closer to the Pivot Table. Here I can add sales to my value field, and now I have the total sales value without having to write a formula. Let's also add the segment to the rows. And now I have my sales by segment. Again, no formulas having to be written. Let me right-click and format the numbers. We'll give it a comma separator of thousands and no decimal places and click OK. From the filter drop-down, I can sort oldest to newest, newest to oldest, or I can right-click the value field and sort it largest to smallest. If I prefer to find the average, I can right-click and change the summarized values by and choose average from this list, and now I have the average sales by segment. Now when the pivot table selected, we have some new contextual tabs on the ribbon for analyzing pivot tables and design. Here we can choose from different styles and various formatting, and on the Analyze tab, I can insert a slicer. Let's say we want to filter this pivot table based on a country, and now I have a slicer for the countries in my data set, and I can click on it to choose which country I want the pivot table to display. If I want more than one country, I can left-click and drag or hold down Control to select non-contiguous buttons in the slicer. Slicers are just a really easy way for your users to interact with and filter your data. Now, if your source data changes, for example, if we added more rows to this table in the pivot table, I can simply right-click and click Refresh to get that new data instantly included in my pivot table. Now that you have the basics mastered, you'll want to turn your spreadsheets into super cool dashboards. So check out my video on Dashboard in 15 minutes that I also created for beginners. It's where things get really exciting. So, do subscribe to my channel, and I will keep coming up with more informative videos.